Brock, no, man. Oh my gosh, this is why we always knock on freaking wood. I'd called myself out a few videos ago for always doing that lately. Hey, this player might be able to become this. This player might be able to produce X amount of points, Y amount of goals, but knock on wood, they don't get injured or something. But like, for Brock Boeser, man, we didn't talk about this, and like, it's the one thing that I didn't actually acknowledge and we did not do the knocking on the wood for, which, I mean, I don't want to make it seem like it's my fault that this happened, but come on, man, Brock Boeser. I was getting really excited for Brock Boeser and the season that he was going to have. Again, we didn't talk about it on the channel. We made videos about Höglander and Hirano and some of the other prospects, and we talked about Pettersson a few times. But for Brock, we just didn't make any videos, and that's kind of my bad. But we did have ourselves a comment from Brock before the preseason began saying this. This is the year. That's all I gotta say. This is the year when it comes to Brock Boeser finally hitting 30 goals in a season. And we had ourselves a radio interview on Sportsnet 650 of Brock going out there saying, yeah, 30 goals, this is the mark, this is what we gotta do, we could be really fast with our centers, and like, Brock Boeser is 25 years old. Signed till the end of 2025, making 6.65 AAV on the cap. He had hit 29 goals in his rookie season and has not gotten close to hitting 30 since. You could say, oh, but the pace, Lego, it's the pace. Over 82 games, he would have been a 30-goal scorer in multiple years. Okay, but like, pace is pace. He didn't get it. Sure, 56 games in 2020, 2021, that's out of his control. He was under a point per game then too, but like, for Brock, everybody kind of said, okay, if this is going to be the year of him to bounce back from what was a pretty down year in 2021, 2022, where he had 23 goals and 46 points, this is going to be an absolute game changer for the Vancouver Canucks. This was supposed to be it, bounce back like a tennis ball, bounce back like a volleyball or any other ball except a football, and like, I was getting excited. I was. And then, we had word from the Canucks earlier in the preseason, before the preseason even began, that Boeser was not scheduled to actually play in the games early on. Not because it was like, okay, well, they didn't play Miller or Hughes in the first game, it's because they're saving them for the next game. It's not like that. For Brock, they just straight up were like, yeah, no, he's not going to be able to play, and we didn't really know why. Well, it turns out that we had ourselves the update, and it comes from the Vancouver Canucks themselves. Take a look at the tweet here. Vancouver Canucks forward Brock Boeser underwent successful hand surgery. He will return in 3 to 4 weeks. Boeser hurt himself at practice on day 3 of Canucks training camp in Whistler, Saturday, September 24th, so 2 days ago. Ah, man, no. This is why we knock on wood, man. This is why. Now, a lot of the replies to this tweet are all doom and gloom, and I know I'm kind of being all doom and gloom too, but I think, we still gotta go out there and say our formalities. Brock, get well soon, man. Get well soon, but don't rush things, because, man, the last time we had a Brock Boeser wrist injury, it was not good, and we saw him trying to come back and, like, play with his wrist all taped up, and it wasn't really fun because he didn't score, and, like, you could tell that the wrist injury was still nagging at him. And we had Pettersson a few years ago, too, go through a similar thing. Hey, it's the wrist injury. He's not 100% healthy in his wrist. These things happen, but my goodness, 3 to 4 weeks? Brock Boeser was supposed to hit 30 goals this year, and he was confident about it, and I was confident for him, and now this happens. Let's go over onto what Jeff Patterson happened to say about the entire thing. If 3 to 4 week timeline holds true, which, there's a chance that it very well doesn't, knock on wood that the timeline holds true, Brock Boeser's quest for his first 30-goal season is not derailed, but it certainly puts him in a tough spot. The good news is, he should be able to skate through hand rehab, so he can likely keep his skating legs. And I guess there is a small positive here that he's not going to be sidelined completely off the ice with no mobility training at all for 3 to 4 weeks, for a month. Let's just say a month, because it's easier to say, but like, it's kind of wild. This says that he injured himself in practice, not even in a scrimmage or in a game or anything. It was like, hey, he's practicing Maybe he fell weirdly, or maybe he entered the boards weirdly when he was finishing up his shooting drill or whatever. Like, I doubt that Brock Boeser is going to hurt himself really badly in a way that he's going to need surgery for by just doing the normal routine. Something else has to have happened here. I don't know, maybe it's not the best habit to go out there and speculate, but like, the guy needed surgery. How in the heck are you injuring yourself in practice to the point that you need surgery? Like, I don't know, it's weird, but at the end of the day, Brock Boeser is indeed out. And if you say that the Vancouver Canucks are going to miss a month's worth of action from Brock, that's how many games? Is that like 70, 65 total games that he can play on the year now? He'll miss 12 to 15? I don't know. I'm just trying to think of it now. Like 30 goals in the span of like 65 to 70 games. It's not impossible, but that is a lot. It is. I mean, you take a look at the other guys. I mean, Bo Horvat had 30 goals last year in a smaller sample. Miller had 30 goals. Pettersson had 30 goals after a really bad start to the year. So I guess anything is possible here, but Brock Boeser, the fact that he hasn't hit it yet, it is somewhat concerning for that 30-goal mark that he said very adamantly that he was going to be able to hit. We also had another update on the Canucks and their injuries. Mikheyev, the early word is that he could be day-to-day, and that is very nice. Day-to-day is the best kind of injury response until that day-to-day becomes week-to-week and it eventually becomes, hey, the guy's not playing at all anymore, period. That happens sometimes with the Vancouver Canucks. So at the very least, if the Vancouver Canucks miss out on Ilya Mikheyev for the next few days, they miss him for the rest of the preseason, maybe there's a chance that he comes back in a few weeks and he starts playing on Kuzmenko and Petey's line again. There are some other comments that we can talk about from Rutherford going over the results of the first few games and everything, but like, we'll save that for another video. I just wanted to talk about injuries today because Brock Boeser, man, 30 goals in 65 games, worst case scenario, 60 games, half a goal a game pace, a 41 goal pace. To be honest, I feel like Brock Boeser was already sort of on pace to being that type of player back in his rookie year. Like, I mean, take a look at the first season Brock ever had, 29 goals in 62 games played. I know rookie Brock is kind of like a mythical being that we kind of believe doesn't exist anymore, but he was on pace for 38 goals in that season alone as like a 19-year-old. So or 20-year-old, something like that. But for Brock, this should be the year. It should have been the year. He's making $6.6 million. I'd expect a 30-goal score out of that. Louis Eriksson was making 6 by 6, and the guy barely cracked 30 points, period. Talk in the comments, though, either way, all your thoughts about Brock Boeser and the injury that he had sustained. It's bad news for sure, but I'm pretty sure we can all say the same thing. Hopefully he gets better soon. Hopefully he fulfills the 3 to 4 week timeline, and hopefully he doesn't have any lingering speck of pain when he comes back, because that has been a problem with Boeser and Pettersson and the Canucks before. I just hope we don't see a repeat. So, talk in the comments, all your thoughts. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.